Welcome back to Secrets of the East, the Kyuk Yurok Revelations. In our last episode, we introduced Nam Sago, Korea's forgotten prophet. Today, we explore one of his most powerful and controversial messages. The East will rise and the West will fall. Now, that might sound like just another nationalistic dream. But when it comes from a man writing in the 1500s, centuries before Western domination, the Industrial Revolution, or even the discovery of America by many, it becomes something else, a warning or a promise. Nam Sago lived at a time when Korea was isolated, China was dominant, and the West barely existed in the Eastern imagination. And yet, his prophecies speak repeatedly of a time when the center of world power would shift toward the East, and when Korea would become a key player in humanity's transformation. One of the most quoted lines from the Kyuk Yurok is this: "The land of morning calm shall no longer bow. The crane will spread its wings. A new sun shall rise in the east, and the nations will turn their eyes." Let's break that down. Land of morning calm is a poetic name for Korea. Shall no longer bow suggests the end of Korea's subjugation, perhaps referring to colonialism, foreign rule, or dependence. The crane will spread its wings. The crane is a Korean symbol of longevity, elegance, and noble power. A new sun shall rise in the east. This line appears multiple times, describing the emergence of a new civilization. And the nations will turn their eyes. Attention shifts to the east. Could Nam Sago have predicted Korea's rise from a war-torn country in the 1950s to one of the world's leading tech, cultural, and economic powers today? He wouldn't have known about K-pop, Samsung, or global diplomacy. But somehow, his verses echo with strange accuracy. Let's look at another verse. "In the time of steel birds, the red flame will rise. But the white-robed people will not be consumed. From them will come the harmony of heaven and earth." This passage has been interpreted by some as describing steel birds equals airplanes, perhaps even bombers. Red flame equals war, possibly nuclear or great destruction. White-robed people equals Koreans, historically known for wearing white clothing. Harmony of heaven and earth equals a restored spiritual order or enlightenment. It's a powerful image, a small, peaceful nation enduring fire and chaos, and becoming a seed for something new. Now, you might be wondering, why Korea? Why would a 16th century prophet choose this small peninsula as the future axis of the world? Nam Sago gives a clue. In several places, he calls Korea the belly button of the world, or the root of the East. He believed this land sat at a spiritual and energetic center, not just geographically, but cosmically. This idea is echoed in Eastern philosophies like feng shui, Taoism, and Buddhism, which describe Korea as a sacred bridge between heaven and earth. In Western terms, we might call it a chosen land. Not chosen by military or empire, but by divine design. But here's the twist. The prophecy doesn't just say the East will rise. It also says, the West will fall. In one line, Nam Sago writes, "The house of iron and gold shall collapse. Kings will lose their crowns, and the eagle will break its wing." House of iron and gold, possibly referencing industrial Western powers and materialism. Kings losing their crowns, the decline of traditional Western leadership. Eagle could represent the United States. Is this just poetic doomsaying? Or could it be a warning about the limits of power built on wealth and war? Some modern interpreters see this as a warning against globalism, capitalism, and the spiritual emptiness of modern life. Nam Sago, it seems, believed that true civilization could only emerge when spiritual order was restored, and that the East, especially Korea, had the key. So what does this mean for us today? It doesn't mean the West is doomed or that one region is superior. Instead, it might be a call for balance, a shift from domination to harmony, a moment when the wisdom of the East, long overlooked, becomes necessary for the survival of humanity. And perhaps Korea, long humble, long suffering, is destined to play a role far greater than we imagined.